Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
How many have bed bug issues?
None, Your Honor.
Did you ever tell her that many other apartments in that building had bed bug issues?
No, I did not.
She making that up?
Yeah.
This is the plaintiff, Caitlin Crommett. She says she rented an apartment from the defendant, and unbeknownst to her, the building was infested with bed bugs. Yuck! The defendant said he had a ton of bed bug cases in the building, and if he helped her, he would have to help everyone. So tough luck. Tough luck? Ha! She's suing for $4,135 for all she's out. This is the defendant, Alan Arfa. He says this whole thing is a hoax on the plaintiff's part to get out of her lease early. That's right, the woman has provided him with no proof of bed bugs. She wanted out of the lease because she realized the apartment was too far away from her work. And he's not giving this scammer one red cent. He's accused of bugging out a tenant.
All parties, please raise your right hands. Do you, in each unit case not pending before this court, the People's Court, solemnly swear to tell the truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
We do.
Thank you. All rise. People's Court is now...
Come with me.
Oh, all right.
I'll be right with you, folks.
All righty.
Welcome home. I believe you will be needing a little bit of this.
How do you do, Your Honor? It's so
And
good
a
to
little
see
bit
you.
of this. Let's see if it still fits.
I was feeling a little naked out here without my coat and my microphone. My goodness. How
How's
about
that? Look at that after all these years.
It works. Thank you. So good to see you.
All right, let's do this.
So good to be back.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome,
Caitlin Crommett, you are suing your former landlord, Alan Arfa. You're the owner?
I'm one of the members of the LLC.
Gotcha. For $4,135 that you say you are owed by them because the apartment was unlivable. Tell me what's going on.
Yes, so I moved into my apartment in Hollywood in September of 2015. Almost immediately, even though I just bought a brand new bed, brand new mattress, I started getting bites all over my body. I thought nothing of it because I had never encountered bed bugs before, and it looked to me like a mosquito bite. So then in January of 2016, when I was out of town for a couple days, a friend came and stayed in my apartment. She slept in my bed, and she, at the end of her trip there, came to me and said, oh, I woke up with a couple bites on me. And I was like, yeah, that happens to me too. I think it's like a spider or a flea or something.
Is it an apartment building?
Yes.
How many units?
Oh, I'm not sure exactly.
How many units?
53.
53 units in the one building.
Correct.
Yes, there's.
Say it again.
Correct.
Yeah, there's singles,
Okay,
one
who's that
bedrooms,
guy?
and two bedrooms.
I'm sorry, I'm the manager, George Papacalos.
Okay. All right. That's who you have been dealing with, right? You've
Correct.
never really dealt with with
Right.
one of the owners. Okay.
Right.
All right. So, okay, so go on. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So your friend stays there what month?
January.
Okay.
So then in early March, I'm sitting in my bed and I look over and I see a couple bugs crawling on my headboard. So I immediately Google it to figure out what that could be. And of course comes up bed bugs and it matches the description exactly. And so I kind of freak out and I pull out my bed and I see thousands all over my headboard. So I immediately go to George and I ask him, the landlord, and I ask him if they can help me exterminate the bugs because I wasn't sure what to do and I thought it was their responsibility to help me out. And he said no, that he wouldn't because they're responsible for the outside of the apartment and I'm responsible for the inside of the apartment. So I immediately start figuring out what to do. I figured out I have to take everything out of my room, take it all to the laundromat, call an exterminator, which is pretty hefty cost. And
How much did you have to pay for the exterminator?
$385.
Did they make you get rid of the mattress?
They didn't make me, but I did.
I guess, but
Yeah.
they can't make you do anything.
Right.
So they suggested you get rid of the mattress.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Go on.
So then George had told me that there were actually, he asked me if I knew how many other apartments had bed bugs, and I said no, obviously. And he said, actually, there are quite a few in this apartment that have bed bugs.
In this apartment building?
Yes.
Okay.
In this apartment building. And so...
Did he say how many in the apartment building had bed bug issues?
He didn't say exactly, no.
Okay. How many have bed bug issues?
None, Your Honor.
Did you ever tell her that many other apartments
No,
in that
Honor.
building had
No,
bed
Your
bug
Honor.
issues?
No, I did not.
Is she making that up?
Yeah.
Has she complained to you about things other than bed bugs in
None.
that apartment?
None.
Okay. Where did you end up? Where did you end up moving in? When did you move? In March?
I moved in March, correct.
And what propelled you to move in March? Your friend stayed there in January.
Right.
And according to you, you found the bed bugs when, in January or February?
March 1st.
March 1st, okay. If she stayed there in January and mentioned that she got bit, how is it you didn't find bed bugs for 2 more months?
Because they're nocturnal creatures, so they don't come out in the daytime.
Well, I don't expect them to tap you on the shoulder and tell you that they're there.
Yeah.
I expect if your friend is telling you you've got a problem, what's going on, that you would do this much.
I did that. I stripped my whole bed.
When you did that in January, did you find any bed bugs?
No, I did not.
So you don't do this until March, and in March, you according to you, you find all these bed bugs.
Correct.
And you find them where? On the mattress and the
Yeah, and lining
all
my headboard.
You've taken a video of it,
Yes.
correct? Okay, let's see the video. What am I looking at there?
Those are all the larvae.
No, but what physically, what is the...
Oh, that's the headboard. So it's a fabric headboard.
Do you have any video of the mattress? Because this is the first time I've ever heard that there were bed bugs in the headboard. Your complaint, you had an addendum to it, and you just mentioned bedding. You're not particularly specific. That concerns me because it almost looks like I'm looking at a sofa in this thing. Is this your headboard?
Yeah, that's my headboard.
Can you approach a bench a moment?
Sure.
Put your hands out here for me.
Yeah, those are
Those
my.
look like your hands.
Those are my.
They do look like your hands. Okay, go ahead and go back. All right. So in March, when you say, I'm out of here, oh, by the way, when did you hire the exterminator? January? Or March?
No, that was in March.
In March. So in March, you hire an exterminator. That costs you how much?
$385.
$385. Do you have the proof of the $385?
I do.
Let me have it. All right. And according to you, in March, you start staying at a friend's house because it's too gross.
Yes.
Okay. So then you are suing to get your March rent back. Mm-hmm. You are suing to get back the exterminator charge.
Right.
You are suing for $200 for gas. For what?
So when I had to stay with my friend, she lived 27 miles away, so I had to keep going back and forth.
All right. And then $52 in laundry. I think I understand what you're asking for there. Now, do you have any proof that this was a system-wide, building-wide problem?
I mean, other than his word.
Yeah, he denies he ever said that.
I know.
I'm sure you had friends in the building. Was anybody else ever talking about it? You had a roommate, in fact. Was your roommate talking about this?
No, she never got them in her room that we know of.
Okay. Did you folks, either of you, ever receive any word from anybody else in the building that there was a bed bug problem?
Absolutely not, Your Honor. Even her roommate never brought it to my attention.
Okay, so at some point when you want to move out, you understanding that you understand a lot about the law. Do you have a lawyer in your family?
I might.
Do you, what, like your dad, your mom?
Yes.
Who?
Yes, my mom.
Your mom, okay. I could tell because it's really well written. The letters are good. They're good, you know. When you write these letters, they say exactly what you should be saying to persuade somebody of the other side. What kind of, is this your mom?
Yes.
Okay. What kind of law do you practice?
Criminal law. I'm a prosecutor.
Oh, so was I for years. So there are a series of letters that you start to write, and because the objective, of course, is to A, get out of the lease, and B, get your security deposit back or your share of the security deposit back. I kind of feel like there was a little trouble between you and your roommate, or maybe just that you weren't, she's not your ally or whatever, that you were just having is that?
Right. So when I found a replacement who was one of my friends to move in, she would not agree to even meet her or anything, and so she told George that she wouldn't
How
allow.
many of your friends did you bring over to, because at one point I thought I read that you brought 3 different friends over to.
3 different, and yeah, George liked them all, and he was excited to get them in, but then as soon as it came down to it and they were all ready to move in, he told me that no, my roommate had to approve them, which wasn't.
Why wouldn't you? Why would that be unreasonable? Why would your roommate not be party to agreeing to who she's living with?
Right. Well,
I mean, that's completely reasonable. There's nothing unreasonable about that.
Right.
And your letters seem to imply that you find that unreasonable, that they had money in their hands and you wouldn't. I mean, your roommate doesn't have to take whoever people shove down her throat. She has to kind of like the person too.
Right.
You weren't wanting to move out because you didn't like your roommate, right?
No.
Okay.
We were friends before that.
Because here's the thing, I'm having trouble. You're either a really crappy friend or the bedbug problem wasn't that bad. Why are you bringing 3 of your friends with money in hand to go in a place that you are claiming is unlivable thanks to him?
Well, because I had exterminated it twice, and so I felt
Then it's no longer unlivable.
Right, for them.
No, then it's no longer unlivable.
But I felt so gross going back there.
You can get all the heebie-jeebies you want, okay? But your heebie-jeebies don't make it unlivable, which is what you need to be able to break your lease, okay? It has to be unlivable. It has to be something, the bed bugs. There are 2 kind of ways where I can see a landlord being responsible. One is if they bring the bed bugs. But the bed bugs are notoriously silent, okay? Notoriously silent. They don't tell you where they came from. They ain't talking. So, and the other way is there's a system-wide infestation. And they know about it, and then they fail to act, even though there's a system-wide infestation, a building-wide infestation, which I see 0 evidence of. 0. In fact, we don't even see evidence of an infestation a few feet away where your roommate is. I just can't pin this on them and tell them that they have to return all this money. Now, at some point, the roommate herself ends up moving out, correct?
Right.
All right, because you filed your lawsuit before she moved out. I believe,
I think
right?
I filed it after.
Oh, maybe after she moved out, but before the 30 days had run? Does that sound right? When did she move out?
She moved out April 7th.
Right. Correct. And so you filed this case when?
May 3rd.
Yeah, so but the 30 days hadn't run out. Now, the 30 days have run out since then, and you have returned what?
We returned the security deposit. We mailed it to the only address that we knew.
Which was whose address?
Her old address, 17.
The address where the apartment?
Correct.
Okay, hoping that it would be forwarded to whoever. Did you leave a forwarding?
I did. I did.
Did you get anything? Well, why do you have something in your hands?
We got it back. We never opened it up or anything.
Okay, so it's here. Now, I'm going to open it. Anybody have a problem with that? I don't want to violate federal law. By the way, where is your former roommate now?
She's working.
Like around?
She's, in LA.
All right. So here's what the letter says. It's a check for $1,611.58. So how much of that, the security deposit was $2,500. So you kept the excess for what?
Back rent because they didn't move out until the 7th.
Okay, so 7 days of rent.
And we also have a check from
And 7 days of rent was how much?
$465.50.
Okay. That's my numbers too. And then what else did you keep?
There was a broken patio, a glass door.
A broken patio glass door.
They broke it.
May I see who broke it?
I don't know which one broke it.
Brittany broke it.
Okay. What happened with the glass patio door?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. This is season 20 of the People's Court and the triumphant return of somebody who was at the People's Court in the other 12 years of the People's Court. The first 12, Doug Llewellyn, is back on the People's Court, and you will see Doug in a few minutes. In the meantime, I do have a question for you. How many bed bugs do you have to find in an apartment before you can say to the landlord, I am out of here and I want my security back?
1.
Really?
Yeah.
Just one bed bug? I know you don't like it, but I mean, realistically, the landlord could say that's just a bed bug that escaped from some other place.
1.
1? I mean, will a judge, would you be comfortable that a judge isn't going to nail you with 1?
I'd be fine with that because it's one bed bug. There could be more.
Oh God! Don't get near me. Seriously? You're okay with bed bugs?
No, I would.
I'm kidding. Going inside the courtroom.
So my roommate broke it. I was out of town. And actually, George told me that was settled because we installed a new air conditioning system for them, and they left it. So he told me that we could just even it out, and they wouldn't charge us for that if we left the
What's a new air conditioning system?
Just like one of the window air conditioning
units.
Is
that accurate?
Yeah, at the time we came to an agreement that if they left the air conditioner in the window, we would go ahead and not charge for the sliding door window.
Okay, and what happened?
What happened was we lost communication with everybody, so we didn't know if that deal was still valid or not.
Okay, but you have eyeballs and you have an apartment that you have access to. Did they leave the air conditioning
Yes,
unit?
they did, Your Honor.
Okay, so why would you charge them then if that was your agreement? You two need to talk more, and you need to make more sense, because that doesn't make sense. If you tell them, all right, you know what, we're even if you leave the AC, and they do, and you know they do, then you don't get to sue them for that, so that's not happening. And that was how much? 298 plus what?
125 for the labor.
For the labor.
All right, 298 plus 125 is a total of $423 additional that needs to be paid. Let's talk about the rest of what you're suing for. Laundry, gas mileage, exterminator, and March rent. Your entitlement to any of that would be predicated on finding that the landlord did something wrong. And in this case, I just can't find that. I can only find from your testimony that there is a problem. Bed bugs is not a problem somebody would live with for 5 months. And the best evidence of that is how you're taking 3 good friends and bringing them in there and having them wanting to take over your lease. It just doesn't work that way. So this check is going to be handed over to you. You and Brittany go to the bank together and cash it and do what the two of you feel is appropriate to do with this. I'm also ordering an additional $423 additional verdict for the plaintiff. Good luck. And it's not doubled, by the way, because doubling would require that they wrongfully withhold money after the time that they're supposed to have given the money back. It was, and your lawsuit starts before the time period even runs. Mom, go ahead. Go ahead. You can do it.
Well, it's only 21 days in California. They only give you 21 days.
Oh, it's 21 days?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Hold on and let me think.
Yeah, I have the law right here.
Oh, the lawsuit was filed April 28th. That's less than 21 days.
No, it wasn't.
April 28th.
When did she move out?
April 7th.
April 7th.
Right.
And she filed lawsuit April 28th.
Oh, so she should have filed it the 29th.
29th, exactly.
Oh, a little premature filing problem. Mom, we're going to pin this one on you. Go ahead, Mom. I really want to hear from Mom. I really want to hear from Mom. Come on up. No. Come on, you can do it.
Thank you.
Yeah. In any event, I'm ruling in your favor in the amount of the $1,611.58 that they had already conceded, plus an additional $423 verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So in a fascinating case, the plaintiff prevails. The defendant is on his way out of the courtroom. Mr. Arfa, if you'll step over here, please, sir.
Okay.
I get the impression you two ought to talk more about some of these issues, don't you think?
Yeah, the dates got a little confused. It's been an ongoing thing for the last 5 months.
Do you think he's in trouble?
No, I kind of had to ratify whatever he said, but I told him he should have made that deal, and maybe they would have even forgot about it, you know?
All right. Well, interesting anyway. Thank you very much. Nice to hear about it. Our officer's waiting for you out here. Officer McIntosh is waiting for you. Thank you very much. Now here comes Caitlin Crummett and her mom out of the courtroom. How do you feel about this? You should feel pretty good, I think.
I feel all right.
Okay.
But I don't know. It was still a while of struggle with the bed bugs, so.
Well, that's obviously, but you know, the judge really wanted to hear from you. You didn't want to say anything. What do you think about, how do you feel the case went from your perspective?
I think the case went fine. I wanted her to handle it as her case.
Yeah.
It's not my case, and I think it went fine.
Well, anyway, you proud of her?
Yes.
Very good. You proud of your mom?
I am.
Very good. What a team. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Harvey, how about that? Nothing has changed. It's good to be back.
Doug, you look great, and it is great to have you back.
Thanks, Harvey.
Just real quickly, photos and videos, critical in cases like this to prove your case. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie, and one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
This is the plaintiff, George Gordon. He says he's known the defendant for a long time, and he's shocked his friend would stiff him on money he owes him for computer repairs. He has no other choice but to sue because he's tired of being ignored by this guy. Wants his $180, and then we'll have nothing to do with him again. This is the defendant, Oswald Francis. He says he's known the plaintiff for 50 years. The guy tried to fix his computer and couldn't, and he had to buy a new one. Because they were friends, he never asked for the $300 he paid him for the repairs back. Now this guy's turning around and suing him in court? He's quite frankly shocked by the plaintiff's behavior and refuses to pay him a penny more. He's accused of taking things too far.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. These litigants were longtime friends, 50 years, but a computer repair got in the way. The defendant says the plaintiff couldn't fix his computer, and he had a right to buy a new one. It's the case of what a download.
Thank you, Douglas. George Gordon?
Yes, sir.
You are suing your former longtime friend Oswald Francis for $180 that you say he still owes you for some computer repairs that he has not paid you.
Right.
Okay, tell me what happened.
On the 8th of December last year, he brought a computer to me and said it's not working. It would work for short periods and shut down.
Okay, hold on one second. Now, how long have you two known each other?
Over 40 years.
How did you know each other?
Through a friend of mine and a friend of his.
All right, and how did he know to bring the computer to you for repair? Do you have a storefront or?
No, I work from my home. It's my hobby.
Okay.
I'm a retired person. I work from home for friends and referrals.
Okay. So now, what was wrong with your computer?
It keeps shutting off.
And what kind of a computer was it?
A desktop.
And what brand?
A brand like I got it from Dell.
Dell, all right. And how old was the computer?
But maybe 10, 15 years.
Oh my goodness,
old.
okay. All right, so you had, so what did it look like? There was a monitor?
No, computer and a monitor.
Okay, and so there's the tower?
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's the monitor?
Right.
Okay, and how fat's a monitor? Does it have like a big back? I'm trying to figure out what it looks like.
Yes, it has
all right.
Yeah.
All right. It would keep shutting off. This was a computer that you used to do work?
Yes.
What kind of work?
New York Life Insurance Company.
Okay. Now, it's shutting off, so you decide to call your old friend who you know fixes computers.
Right.
All right. What do you do to the computer in order to stop it from shutting off?
When I checked it out for him, I told him it's corrupted. You couldn't get a program to work. He didn't know what corrupted mean. I explained it to him. I said, we got to wipe the hard drive. All information got to come off and reinstall. He said, okay. Then I found out that after wiping it, there was a lot more problems. It would cost about $500 or $600 to repair. So I told him I had an upgraded computer that can replace his for $300. His would have cost, by my estimate, by $500 or $600 to put the different pieces together.
Okay.
I took my computer at his house, which is a compact, and he plugged it in. But then when he plugged it into his monitor wasn't working either, because it would flash on and off, on and off. So I said to him, you need a monitor also. So I took a monitor from my house, took it to his house, connected it up, and he was in business. At that point, he contacted his insurance company, and I could see on the screen New York Life showing on the screen. And they, by remote, took control of the computer.
Okay.
And I'm seeing the screens changing, and it's giving them information. And then the person said to him on his speakerphone, what kind of computer you have? And he looked at me because he didn't even know it. I said, it's a compact. And the man said, no, can't work. So I took his phone from him and asked him, what is the problem? He said, we told him to buy a new computer. You need a Dell.
You ended up buying a new Dell, right?
Sure,
How much did the new Dell cost?
I paid $1,500.
Yeah, but at some point when you're throwing 15 years is a long time in computer years.
Agreed.
It's like dog years,
Agreed.
So, 50-year friendship. If somebody just stiffed you, would you end the friendship over $180?
No, it's not that much. It's kind of, maybe over the years you'll have them take you out to dinner or something, and I feel like it's not
Fair enough, but they're disrespecting you.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. If you're good enough friends, you can get over it.
Really? $500.
No.
It's $2,000.
Maybe. It's starting to get up there.
$5,000.
Okay.
See my point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Going inside the courtroom.
Did your office tell you that you needed to have a Dell?
No, they didn't tell me I need a Dell.
And it shouldn't make a difference who the brand is. I mean, it matters what you put on the computer.
Not really. Not really. Whatever they're doing can go in any computer.
Any computer, right. It's really
but
them. They're being lazy.
Apparently, they want their system.
They can be as lazy as they want. They're the employer.
Maybe
They tell you what they want.
all the agents to have a certain brand, because when he named the brand, and his was a Dell, I took back my monitor, my compact, and I upgraded his Dell since they're going by name brand.
So you gave him back his Dell?
Yes, with new parts in it.
With the new parts in it?
Yes, and gave him an itemized bill with what was done.
And the bill was for how much?
The bill was for $480, so he had given me $300.
He had paid you how much?
$300 for my computer.
So you're here suing for the additional $180.
Yes.
Now, before you went back to your home, got his old Dell, and decided to fix it the way you now knew that they wanted it, had you told them, look, this is going to cost you X?
No.
How is there no agreement with the two of you beforehand on what it would cost?
But it was still way beyond what he's going to spend.
That's not the point. It's not up to you to decide whether or not he's willing to pay $480. It's up to both of you to decide whether or not he's willing to pay $480. And why are you letting him upgrade your old Dell without knowing what it's going to cost you?
We never discussed that price.
Okay, well then, when you folks don't discuss the price, then how do you decide that the price? Why didn't you pay the bill? This is your old friend who fixed a computer for you. It's not like you can argue, well, I thought it would only be $100. You never discussed the price. So now what do we do? He did some work and he wants $480. Why is that not fair?
That's not the way it went.
Okay.
You see what was happening here? We were operating on a friendly manner.
Yeah, how'd that turn out for you guys? Not so good, because you're in court. See, contracts are about agreeing beforehand. I'm gonna give up $300, you're gonna fix my computer. That's a deal. We both agree beforehand, okay? So when we're dealing with a friendly matter, we end up losing a friend and going to court over $180. How long you guys known each other?
I didn't even know that.
How long have you known each other?
I did not even know that.
How long have you known each other?
I don't even remember.
Can I see all of the paperwork between the two of you that would show evidence of whatever agreement you two had?
This is what was done.
Thank you, sir.
This is the only piece of paper between the two of you. And it's the bill that you send him saying that you owe me another $180.
On the 6th of January, I gave him an itemized bill. Was what was done.
That was made to me afterwards.
Okay, listen. I don't think that there's any dispute that this is afterwards, because this is what, yeah, it's clearly, the bill itself says it's afterwards. It says you owe me another $180. For there to be a contract between two people, there has to be a meeting of the minds and an agreement between them. And I know you feel very strongly about this, as does he. He feels like, what is this, another $180 when the problem was never solved? I already paid you $300. I'm not suing to get my $300 back, but you're suing me to get another $180 that we never talked about? I mean, do you see his side and do you see his side, or neither one of you see the other person's side?
I don't know what he did.
I know you don't know. I know.
On all that list, I saw that afterwards. It was mailed to me. I knew nothing at all about it.
Yeah, I mean, unless there is an agreement to pay you an additional $180, you can't, after the fact, say, by the way, I'm changing our original $300 contract that we agreed on, because we know, because there's a payment to you. So we know that at some point the deal was for $300. You can't then say, no, now the deal's not for $300. It's for $480. I realize that the deal changed, but unless there's a contract for the price changing, and a contract can be verbal, doesn't have to be in writing, but unless there's an agreement between the two of you, which both of you say nobody ever discussed the $180 until it was over, Unless there's an agreement between the two of you for the 180, he doesn't have to pay the 180, and my verdict in this case is for the defendant. Good luck, folks.
Well, the plaintiff is on his way out of the courtroom. This just seemed to be a lack of an agreement between you two, and you just didn't have it settled and agreed before everything
nothing
started.
Written. We just deal as friends, and I don't think nothing written.
Yeah, yeah. Well, again, you seem like a good guy, but I think you've learned something about
yes, I have.
The way to do business from this. Right?
I have.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Sorry it had to be this way. Okay. You have to sign some documents out there. Okay. Officer McIntosh is waiting for you. Mr. Francis, if you'll come out of the courtroom. So how are you feeling about this? I mean, again, a friend and a dispute, and you've come to court? That's
from the beginning, I've been shaky, very shaky. This is not necessary. He could have, if he had just said, give me $100, I'd give him. I'd give him anything, sure.
Well, that's a shame. You could have worked it up.
I was shocked to know he would bring me for this. Crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you very much. And that'll conclude the testimony. Harvey?
Here's the deal. You cannot go back in time and say to somebody, I did something valuable for you, pay me. You have to make that decision up front. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
These are the plaintiffs, Ellen and Michael. Ellen says her cat peed on her furniture, and she hired the defendant to reupholster 4 of her chairs. He said he'd strip them down to bare wood to get rid of the smell and told her they would be like brand new. When she received them, however, they still stunk to high heaven. He didn't do what he said he would do, and she wants her $2,899.61 returned. That's why they're suing. This is the defendant, David Oliverio. He says he spent 10 months stripping the chairs and reupholstering them. They were odor-free when he delivered them, and he's quite frankly shocked he's being sued here today. He did a fantastic job for the plaintiffs, has no idea what their problem is because the chairs were odor-free when he finished with them, and he owes this woman nothing. He's accused of doing stinky work. The defendant has filed a countersuing for $448.68, the cost of fabric.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says her cat peed on her furniture. She hired the defendant to reupholster it. Still stinks, but the defendant says he spent 10 months and it smells fine. It's the case of you're in big trouble now.
Thank you, Douglas. Ellen and Michael, you've asked to be referred to only as Ellen and Michael. You are suing Columbia Mattress and Upholstering Incorporated, represented here by David Oliverio, for $2,899.61 that you want returned to you because his upholstering did not achieve the objective, which was to remove the cat smell, the smell of cat urine. Okay, and you have a counterclaim against them for $448.68 for the cost of fabric. Let me go to you first. What happened?
So we had these wonderful living room chairs that were antiques. They belonged to Ellen's grandparents. We had them redone many years ago. And one of our cats had a bladder infection, urinated on 4 of the chairs. So we sought to have them completely redone, the fabric and the stuffing, such that the smell would be removed.
Did you who was the one who was speaking with him?
Ellen.
Okay, Ellen, did you specifically tell him that was why you wanted them redone?
When I went into the store, the first thing I said was, we have 4 chairs that we would like to have reupholstered because one of our cats had had a bladder infection
You
and
actually
urinated
told the whole
on them.
story. Okay.
Yes.
And that they kind of were taking on a pungent odor.
I did not mention that they smelled, but you could not miss it. And in my email correspondence with the defendant, he says that he did notice that there was a smell on at least one of the
when
chairs.
you said one of our cats had a bladder infection and was urinated and has urinated on all the chairs, were you referring to stains or were you referring to smell?
I was referring to odor.
Okay. Were there stains on it?
No. Okay. There was no other reason to have them reupholstered. They were in good condition otherwise.
Okay, so you bring it to him, and the charge, you pick out a fabric. Was he also going to, do you have a contract or an invoice with him for the work?
Yes, I have a paid invoice with me.
May I see it?
Yes.
So was he going to do work to the wood as well, or just to the, or just reupholster them?
He didn't say.
No, yeah, you hand it to him. He does it.
That's great.
He didn't say exactly what he would do.
Thank you.
And the fabric is noted on the invoice, Your Honor.
Yes, it is. It's already charged on the invoice. All right, so the work gets, how long did it take for the work to get done?
About 10 months from our initial conversation.
Had you ever talked to him about how long he would take to have the work done?
No.
That sounds like a long time, right?
It was a long time, but I was all right with it.
Okay, because you had other chairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Or no company. Okay.
No company.
All right. So what? So the chairs are finally done, and he delivers them.
He delivered them to our garage as I had requested. I came home that day, got out of the car, and I smelled cat urine. I approached the chairs, and the odor got stronger, and I realized that all 4 chairs still smelled, including the 2.
How did he get into your garage?
It's an electronic garage door opener.
Right. Had you left it?
He's able to push a button.
He's able to push a button outside. All right. Are the cats in the garage?
No.
Okay. Is it possible that the cats saw my favorite chair and came and peed on it to kind of?
Cats cannot get.
So they had not been at the chairs yet.
The door was locked between that, and the alarm was on.
Okay. So there were no cats in the garage.
No.
Okay, he didn't leave the garage door open, and then the stray cats of the neighborhood say, "Oh, that's Sparky's favorite chair. I'm going."
No.
Okay. All right. So go on.
I emailed the defendant.
A very polite email where you say, "Oh, I feel so bad because we've had such a good relationship, but they smell." Yeah. And what does he respond?
He gave me some suggestions that he would help me with, such as putting spray on it. He said that he had sprayed them himself. He said he put in all new padding. But I took one of the chairs to our original upholsterer, who I thought had gone out of business.
Jeez, you need to try harder. Because he hadn't, right? Okay,
and he opened the chair in my presence, and he showed me this picture. These are the layers. He showed me the old burlap, which is crumbling, and the old horsehair, old padding and new padding. And I also have a physical sample of that if she would like to see it.
I would. Is there a smell to the physical sample?
No, I purposely took it out of the tops because I didn't want to bring in anything with
Why? That's a
cat excrement.
That's actually what I wanted to. I wanted to smell the evidence. That's it.
Can you get cat urine out of furniture?
I never had a cat, but I don't think you would be able to.
What if you reupholster though? Can you get it out?
If it's still the same furniture, I don't think you'd be able to get it out.
So if it's there forever.
Yeah.
Okay, going inside the courtroom.
What's going on?
Yes, Judge. I picked up the chairs from her.
Why did it take you 10 months?
Well, because we took them all apart and we had them air out. We treated them, and plus we had such a backlog of work. We let them air out like we normally do, and I called Elena. I said, or emailed her. I said that blue chair had a bad smell of urine on it, and I'm highly allergic to cats. So, we obviously took that apart, treated it, sprayed it for months and months.
Okay, but according to the new upholsterer and these pictures, there's a lot of old stuff that's still
Correct.
there. You didn't rip out all the, you didn't replace all that?
Normally with the integrity of old furniture, that burlap you see, that's the surrounding area. We took out layers on top, which we'd been doing since we started this company, and we put new layers on top. The majority of the cat smell was in that cushion.
Apparently not. It was the first thing they called you about. The first thing she did was email. Were you happy with how they looked?
Yes,
they were beautiful.
Fine.
In fact, in her email, she says they're beautiful. Yes. But I mean, so I can understand if you want to keep, because it's an antique and you want to touch it as little as possible. But that's something you have to discuss with her. When the reason she brings it in is because the thing stinks, and if the thing stinks, there's only one solution, and that's take out all of the stuffing that might have stink in it, and that's because why? Because then you find yourself here. Exactly what ended up happening.
We did it to the best of our knowledge to get this smelling normal.
Well, good. Then I guess you learned something here, because the best of what your knowledge wasn't good enough because it stunk. And she had to take it somewhere else, and they're having to pay again. So that's not okay. Tell me about your counterclaim, though. You have a counterclaim for $448.68, but you already charged them in the invoice that they paid in full. You already charged them in the invoice for fabric. So why are you counterclaiming?
Good question.
Did you not realize they had paid for it? Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, on your counterclaim, 0. On their claim against you, is it the amount is correct? $2,899.61 that they paid for reupholstering. My verdict is for the plaintiffs in the amount of $2,899.61. Good luck, folks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So this was a relatively simple case, Mr. Olivero. How do you feel about that? I'm amazed at your countersuit. You got a little shocked there.
Yeah.
You didn't realize, huh?
Right. Well, I'm not happy with the verdict.
You know,
I
come
learned a
on,
lot.
It took you 10 months, and you did a pretty bad job.
Did a good job.
No.
It smelled perfect when I went out of the factory.
Well, she smelled it. I just couldn't imagine why you wouldn't replace all the stuffing to begin with.
We never replace all the stuffing in any job we do. I'm being honest with you.
Really?
And we got all the stuffing out that was urinated on.
All right, sir. Well, obviously, they won the case.
Thank you.
You lost. Thank you very much. Here come our plaintiffs, Ellen and Michael. Folks, sorry you had to come to court. Are you satisfied with the outcome?
Very satisfied.
And hopefully your chairs will be nice and you'll approve of them when you get them next time, right?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
You must sign some documents. Thank you, sir. Harvey, it's your turn.
Okay, you know what? It doesn't matter. Even if the defendant did a really good job, if he promised that he could get the smell out, tough luck, he is responsible. Okay, now I've been waiting for this for a long time. This is Doug. Why don't you deliver that famous line?
Well, as I've so often said on this show, I'm Doug Llewellyn. Thanks for joining us and reminding you, if you're involved in a dispute with another party and you can't work it out, don't take the law in your own hands. You take them to court.